Two suspected illegal miners have been granted bail of 5,000 rand each by the Praktiseer Magistrate's Court outside Burgersfort in Limpopo. The suspects, Justine Mitchell and Gerry Mitchell, were arrested for alleged possession of chrome valued at over 20 million rand last Friday. Now, the pair are also believed to be directors of an organization that deals in the illegal trade of minerals. Let's get more analysis on this matter now with mining analyst Mr. Peter Major. Peter, pleasure having you with us this afternoon. Welcome. So with all the task teams and programs effected to guard against illegal mining, like the latest operation called Vala Imigodi, but seemingly this practice will not go away. What are your thoughts on what keeps on exacerbating illegal miners and activities?
There are so many factors that are exacerbating illegal mining here that it's almost hard to say, where do we start? But let's go back to, why wasn't this an issue in the 60s, 70s, and 80s? And there's a lot of reasons that it wasn't such a big issue. There's always been a little bit of illegal mining here and there, but we had a pretty united police force, army, and security on the mines. We had very organized mines. We had very organized, powerful, experienced mining houses. And government had been in place for over 70 years. So they knew how to integrate the resources. And we had a lot of men employed in mining. We had over 800,000 men employed in mining, whereas today we barely have 460. So with the new government taking over in 1994, we just had too many changes all at once. And unfortunately, the new government was unable to cope with all these changes. The new government was unable to manage and implement. You know, you can't just write legislation, you have to implement legislation. And you can't just make mining such a turnoff. So they turned off the taps with foreign investment. They nationalized all the mines in 2004 when they said for 10 years they would not do that. So foreign investment dried up. Local investment from the local mining companies pretty much dried up as far as expanding. And for various reasons, the mines couldn't employ all the people that they had, and that you got retrenchment. So you got hundreds of thousands of men retrenched, and that's the only thing they knew how to do. And unfortunately, our economic growth was falling instead of going up. It was getting worse and worse most years instead of going up, despite a fantastic commodity price environment, you know, a super cycle. So it was falling apart, all these divisions that had managed the mines and managed our workforce, border control, security, army, it's everything. So they have to address so many issues if they want to stop the illegal mining.
Absolutely, Peter. I mean, this is always a very controversial question, right? When you start asking about the identification of the actual kingpins, because it's not rocket science. Deal with the enablers, the black market traders, most of your problem would then be solved. So why are we so sensitive in calling out criminal behavior, you think?
Well, we've seen a lot of books, articles, presentations that there are politicians involved, that there's a mix, you know, almost something like Russia. After the Russian Iron Curtain fell, you had a mix of the mafia, the KGB, the syndicates, and we seem to have that here. We have a pseudo-mafia corrupt in high places in government that allows that not only mismanages these various departments that used to control illegal mining, but sometimes enables it, sometimes facilitates it. So we've often seen that, especially in Eskom's case, but SAA, all of that. The big people who allow the legislation or the security forces and army and police to decide who they're going to prosecute and not prosecute. There's too many links with powerful people that we don't get to the bottom of it. And we've got to not just change legislation, we've got to implement it. We can't just talk about it and stamp hundreds of bills. We got to implement just a few bills that everybody understands and can clearly see these will make things better.
Absolutely. Now, how do these illegal extraction of our minerals, Peter, actually impact overall on the industry?
Oh boy, not just the industry. the whole country. They terrorize villages. They interrupt normal supply chains. You know, they will hijack transport. They will dismantle transport, like we've seen with Transnet. They will tap in illegally into electricity, into water. And when I say disrupt, we just know honest people traveling through areas that have illegal miners. You know, they're subject to harassment. They're subject to extortion, hijacking. We don't even want to talk about what kind of environmental damage this illegal mining is using. And that's the mining. If you get into illegal processing, where they're using arsenic, cyanide, lots of poison toxic gases, mercury. You know, Africa is being destroyed by mercury brought in from China to help process the gold because you have a high gold price. It's a plethora of negatives that are coming from this. We don't get any taxes from it. Our death rate on mines is probably quadrupled, but these people don't get accounted for because their lives don't equal what a normal miner's life equals. It's almost too horrible to talk about. And you have to address all the failing issues in South Africa that are allowing this to happen, that are causing it to happen. You know, desperation, high unemployment.
Indeed, Peter, you spoke about legislation and its implementation, right? Do you think police, DMRE and all the relevant authorities actually do have the relevant resources and muscle, or even most importantly, the will to eradicate these activities, Peter?
I really feel sorry for the police. I know a lot are incompetent, a lot are corrupt, but on the whole, I feel sorry for the police trying to fight this battle when they haven't had the support of upper management. Upper management mean the president, the cabinet ministers, the MPs that brought about this environment. You know, who made mining unattractive? Who turned off the taps of foreign investment in our mining? You know, who did that? Why can't that be undone? We still have all the minerals here. We have fallen so far behind in the amount that we mined compared to our peers. You know, from being a world leader, we're literally almost a has-been, and we still got all those minerals. But the legislation, you know, nationalizing, giving 30% away, the list just goes on. As we said, our borders are porous, so the poor security forces, you could bring top-ranked security people from across the world here. But this is like putting your finger in the hole in a cracking dam. It's growing new cracks by the day. You run out of fingers. You run out of cement. So, yeah, we have to get to the root causes, whether big and macro, and is there will in Parliament to put in legislation that makes mining attractive, to get money in to help fix this?
You know, this conversation on its own, Peter, is actually quite frustrating because you never get around to what really the actual solutions are. Thank you so much for your analysis this afternoon. That is Mr. Peter Major, the mining analyst on the latest illegal mining activities and suspects that were apprehended early today.